Hey folks, this is Kalani. A recent topic came up amongst my friends, and this was to do with champions and the new loot system that we're getting, in that champions will drop a designated loot bag which will contain all sorts of goodies. So, the main topic was, or rather it started from, my friend saying, so, as soon as patch day hits, going to be farming champions? I said, no, I'm going to be farming dungeons. So the discussion came up, what is better, farming open world champions or farming champions in dungeons? Now, this got a little far, basically to where we couldn't actually make up a decent summary. We actually could not come to a conclusion with this, and this was mainly due to how many more people there's going to be out in the open world. So to address this, I wanted to look at where we can farm champions. Now this is going to be from the perspective of farming them. We want the loot. So this is not going to include normal gameplay, this is not going to include random occurrence, we are going to be hunting champions. So the first one was open world champions. Now these are champions which are designated as an event and obviously occur in the open world. Now the best example of this I can find is Queensdale, where if you've been to Queensdale you will definitely know that there is a cave troll which spawns just around here. But you may not know that there's a few others. So with Queensdale we've got a champion which spawns down near Vale Waypoint. We have, let's get this right, we've got the champion Oakheart in the Great Heart Weald, which is near the Finney Waypoint. Then we've also got the champion Wasp up at the Queen's Forest, and the champion Boar just north of that. Now there is also a champion Spider, but sadly the event for that isn't trackable. We also have the champion Bandit in Bandit Hawk Caverns. Now people have essentially made a little route of this, to the point where some people are actually levelling off this, but that's not what we're interested in. We're interested in the champions. So you can do most of these champions relatively easily. They do go down more or less guaranteed. You can take them down even if there's only 3 of you. My question is that going to yield more champions than if you were to farm dungeons? And the other thing to consider in there is that dungeons will be dropping the new dungeon loot, so once per day you'll also get a flat amount of gold at the end, and the champion loot bags from any bosses. Now it has been confirmed that the loot bags will drop from legendary mobs as well, so that's guaranteed from every single last boss, no matter what dungeon it is. So if we want to go through them nice and quickly, it's kind of awkward to do, but Citadel of Flame Path 1 may come back as a champion farming, because that's going to be 2 very quick loot bags. And if you think that you can do a cough run in, what, 8-10 minutes? 12 if you're slow? That's kind of 2 per 8-10 minutes, 1 per 5 minutes. I actually think Queensdale could be faster than that, in that if you do obviously a nice route around, and people call it, and people actually do it in a circle. Let's have a go look at Oak. If people do it in a circle, then kind of everybody gets that nice... Everybody's there, which means that everybody gets not only completion, not only the rewards, but then everybody's in line to go get the next one. It's like, if you're group farming, it's actually far more beneficial for everyone to farm it together in a group. So this is going to be like... I'm honestly not sure whether we're going to be farming open world champions or whether we're going to be farming dungeon champions. See, that would yield a nice bag. Now the other thing is variety, because one thing that came up is, sure, we want to be farming champions, but depending on the champion type, it's actually going to drop a different loot bag, and that loot bag will dictate what kind of rare skins you have a chance for. So I actually think Queensdale is going to be a very nice area. We've got a champion troll, so that's one type. A champion bandit, that's a second type. A champion Okart, that's a third. A champion wasp, that's a fourth, potentially. And boar and wasp may go together depending on how they work it, because they're both champion kind of wildlife. But if they separate it into insect and then either boar or animal, that could be different types there as well. Potentially the spider will be classed the same as the wasp. That's a lot more likely, but you never know, it might be classed as spider on its own. Excuse me, which means that you have complete variety there. Whereas if you're running the same dungeon over and over and over, you're going to have the same kind of bosses. Now, adjacent to that, you got ore farming as well. Now, ore farming is probably the other open world one, due to simply the amount of events that occur down in ore and in Cursed Shore itself. Another thing that we're not entirely sure of yet, because we don't have specifics, is whether these champions will scale off level. In that, will the reward scale off level? Will I get a silver because it's a level 10 champion? Will I get 20 silver because it's a level 18? This is everything we're going to have to look through, but again, down in ore, you're going to have the same kind of champions, which might be great if you want the rare skins from them, but what about variety? So that's an interesting thing. The other thing that actually came to mind was large events, which spawn a lot of champions very frequently. So, I'm over at Claw of Jormag, and what people may not have noticed is that you actually get a lot of champions here. I mean a lot of champions. We've got 2 at the back here, and this is only the first phase, where apparently there is no one. I hope that's just culling, but I had to guest for this, so just to show you that you do actually get a lot of champions here. And in phase 2 you get even more. So I'm wondering if it's going to go back to the case of you let Jormag land and then just don't finish him off. You literally don't bother killing him. You just farm the champions that spawns. So I wonder if they're going to have to make a distinction between like open world champions and champions that are spawned in a meta event. Otherwise things could get out of control pretty fast. But I then don't think they kind of could do that. Like, they couldn't keep them champion and then have them not drop loot, especially considering the champion loot box is supposed to be from champions, if you know what I mean. So I think either they'll let them drop loot and we'll happily have a fun time farming them, or they might actually go down to silver veterans, or even veterans. They might just not have the meta events spawn champions, which could be interesting, because basically in this kind of meta event you're given a champion basically as quickly as you can kill them. Seriously, the champion will respawn as it dies, which means that you've got, as long as you've got enough people to kill the champions, you're going to have unlimited amounts of farming, which is kind of ridiculous. But I just wanted to throw these ideas about and basically ask the question, what do you think? Where will you be farming your champions if you want to do so? That's it. That's it for now. I'll probably go to Queensdale, just to answer that. I'll probably do a run. Yeah, I'll probably do a run of dungeons, which I know I can do, and they'll have basically the trade-off between how much gold I can get and how long it takes. Kill all the champions in those dungeons, and then come back to Queensdale and happily farm a route around there. Obviously, if I'm not doing anything else. That's a last resort to either making money or just a time filler, really. But yeah, that's my answer. What's yours? Leave it in the comment section below. Thank you for watching, folks. Good luck and have fun, and as always, I will see you next time.